Just trying to get some things. Days. So we're leaving Eyemouth Harbour now with our entrance. That's out. Misty, cold, grey May morning, I have to say. En route to Arbroath, about 8 and a bit hours away. Well, it's a miserable, cold, grey morning. Having left Eyemouth, moving up towards St Abb's Head. Very little wind. What wind there is? Bang on the nose. But pretty chilly. It's not going to be a pleasant sunny sail today, I don't think, although I think it's going to clear up inland, so we may be lucky. We may get some sunshine later. Certainly when there's no sun up on the northeast coast, it's pretty flipping cold. Loads of oilseed rape fields out in flower over there. Anyway, yeah, we're just after St Abbs. We crossed the Firth of Forth, so we probably won't see land for a bit until we spot it over by Dundee.
So this is St Abb's Head disappearing into the mist.
Well, we're closing on Arbroath now. I have to say it's not been the most stimulating of sails. As you can see, it is still very misty. I reckon visibility is about half a mile. We're only 1.2 miles out and we can't see any land at all. But still, there we are. We've had a bit of excitement with the engine. The clip came off and we lost some water, but that is now fixed. But anyway, we're sailing anyway at the moment, so that doesn't matter. And yeah, so we're just about to come into Arbroath. But when we're going to see it, there's anyone's guess at the moment. We might be coming in under instruments to begin with. This is the entrance to Arbroath Harbour. What a difference a day makes. You can see for miles today. You could only see for yards yesterday. It's northerly wind again, unfortunately, so we're going to be heading into the wind later as we make our way to Stonehaven. We had a bit of a not disaster, that's putting it too strongly. We had a bit of an issue yesterday where a Jubilee clip came off one of the silicone hoses on the engine and must have dumped all our cooling water into the bilge. Luckily it was all caught in the kind of tray under the engine. We managed to fix it at sea enough to get in. I've drained it all down this morning, put fresh antifreeze in, checked all the other clips as well, so we're ready to go. And I just come across coffee, nice cafe latte rather than the stuff we make on the boat. And about 12:30, 1 o'clock, we'll be heading off for Stonehaven, pushing wind and tide, how annoying.
All stations. This is Aberdeen Coast Guard, Aberdeen Coast Guard, Aberdeen Coast Guard. For the Maritime Safety Information broadcast, listen now on channel 63.
You're listening to that. It's a bit late now, but whatever they're going to say.
You want to listen?
Yeah, might as well.
63.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
So Arbroath has a gated harbour, which means that we couldn't exit when we wanted to. We had to wait for the gate to open, which meant we missed any fair tide to go to Stonehaven and therefore had to push tide and the strong wind all the way up. So it was a very bumpy, wet and slow ride up to Stonehaven. Once we got to Stonehaven, it was quite late. Harbour master had gone home. It was nearing low water and we'd been told to tie up in the outer harbour, which we did alongside the wall that you can see in this photograph. And it was very surgy all night, so we got little sleep. We were up, the boat was snatching, we were adjusting lines and fenders. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, the harbour master turned up to say that the wind was going to get a lot worse, and therefore all boats out there should move to the inner harbour. We just got in by the skin of our teeth before the tide lowered, so that we wouldn't have got in for another 12 hours. And once we were inside, it was much quieter. So we then spent 4 or 5 days actually in Stonehaven, a very lovely place to stay, and we did some visits and had a bit of a holiday, going to castles and the Marine Hotel bar, which was very nice.
Wind's a bit lighter today, although it's beginning to build again. Beautiful day though. And there's Stonehaven, full circle in the inner harbour on the right hand side. Very pretty little place. Could be stuck anywhere. This is the place to be stuck. Now we're inside, it's not it was horrible there. Much protection there. It's picked up again. So it comes right there now. Still, never mind, we're still on our hollybobs. We're not going anywhere till at least Monday, because I think Saturday, Sunday, this is Friday at the moment. Saturday, Sunday, this was almost a day when we might have had a go. But the harbour master didn't think it was wise. It looks like he was right after all. A lot of white horses out there. The next possibility, I think, is Monday. So let's hope it calms down by then. Stonehaven disappearing. Lists. Martin is happy because we're sailing on a port tack, close hauled, best course to windward. We're not heading where we want to go. That's pretty much part of the course, it seems. But fairly flat sea today, much flatter than it's been for the last 5 days, that's for sure. And although it's cloudy, it's not too bad. There's a bit of sunshine trying to break through. So anyway, we're bound for Peterhead. Keep calling it. So I call it Peterborough. The Stonehaven I call Stonehouse. Because, well, passing Aberdeen. See an oil rig in there. Punching into this hateful northeast wind that's been blowing for nearly a week now. Very uncomfortable, slow, wet, bangy, can't sail, whole thing's a flipping disaster. Fed up with it. We're going to turn west after we get to Peterhead tomorrow, and the wind had better not change, that's all I can say, into the west. Almost at Peterhead, big power station on the outside of Whitehills. The entrance is just in front of us. It's been a horrible trip up, not quite as bad as the other day, but not far off it. The wind is coming from north positive, not leave our confidence. Anyway, we are almost there. We don't get a big splash on the last bit. It'll be alright. And we'll have a marina and we have electricity, so we'll have the heaters on.
Having had a peaceful night in Peterborough, we're setting off again in the morning. Nice sunny day today, which is great. Wind forecast still, unfortunately, from the north. And believe it or not, it's going to go around to the west later as we enter the Moray Firth. That's unbelievable, really, but still. We're off, and it's a nice day. Just passing Rattray Head. Nice day again, but wind's still on the nose, and it's quite rough actually because we've come quite close in, which may have been a mistake. Although it's neat tides at the moment, I don't think there's any terrible overfalls. I'm not sure it's much rougher than it's been generally, but anyway, just passing Rattray Head, a bit of a milestone. This is where the Scottish coast turns in towards the Moray Firth. Fraserburgh next. Past Fraserburgh, round the corner now into the Moray Firth. Sea has died down thankfully, because it was pretty rough around Rattray Head going round past Fraserburgh, but it's a bit bumpy, but not so bad now. However, as you can see, wind is still on the nose. I don't know how we manage it. Don't know who God is, but not the god of wind and sailing. Still, might be the god of sunshine though, because it's been a sunny and much warmer day than we've had for a while. So we're round the corner now. We've got about 3 hours left to run before we get to Whitehills, which is apparently a very lovely little marina on the northern Moray coast. And I think we're going to be there for 2 or 3 days because the weather forecast is deteriorating again after today. We will see. Keep you informed. Well, still motoring because what wind there is on our nose, but oh my goodness, what a difference 10 miles makes. We are now in weather more like a nice day on the south coast of England. Coming in now well into the Moray Firth. Beautiful scenery, beautiful sea, beautiful sky. Just seen a pod of bottlenose dolphins, which are massive compared with the common dolphins that I usually see when I'm on the south coast. In fact, when I first saw it, I said, "Oh my God, it's orcas," but it wasn't. But bottlenose dolphins, and they were. If I'd had the boat hook, they were close enough I could have touched one. They were that close. So yeah, much better day now. We had a nasty bit up round Rattray Head and around Fraserburgh where the sea was really confused and mucky, but now very pleasant, very pleasant. About probably less than 2 hours almost out from Whitehills now, where we're going to stay at least for 2 days because we got force 6 from the north coming again on Thursday, and tomorrow's not much better, so we're going to have a couple of days at least in Whitehills. But we are now just the one sail from Wick, where Stephen will join us for the final bit across to Orkney. Feels almost in touching distance. Just passing Macduff and Banff. Then there's just one little headland, and Whitehills Maroon is behind that. Late afternoon sunshine, very pleasant on the Moray Firth. Banff and Macduff, I believe, have harbours, but they didn't come particularly recommended, whereas Whitehills has come with many recommendations. So that's where we're going, and hopefully the harbour master has rung us and seemed very friendly, and we know where we're going when we go inside, so that's great. So anyway, Banff and Macduff.
So Whitehills was a very friendly place as predicted. We visited Banff. There's some wonderful beaches up here on the Moray Firth. It was windy from the north for a couple of days, so we stayed at Whitehills for 2 days. It was even quite rolly when we came back out. And when you see the video in a minute, you'll see that the sea's rolling across quite a narrow entrance. Pretty much okay at all states of tide. but you need to have your wits about you going out of here when the swell is from the north.
Well, we've left Whitehills. I'm afraid I didn't get any footage. It would have been useful, but it's always worth looking at the pilot book and the chart for Whitehills. It's a very bijou, small harbour, extremely friendly, and lovely facilities. But we've had a northeast wind or northerly wind now for, I don't know, it seems like since kind of Christmas. But and that has raised a pretty big sea. We got kind of 2.5 metres swell today, and Whitehills, having the swell coming in from the north, is a little bit rocky inside, a little bit, you know, the boat tends to sway about a bit, not drastically, but makes it a bit uncomfortable, and certainly made me quite nervous having to come out passing the pier into the big swells, but in the end it was fine. Harbour Master gave me some assurances it would be okay, and it was. We're now out in the big swell in the Moray Firth, and heading across towards Wick. It's meant to be a sunny day. There's some cloud around, but also some sunshine. And it's about a 10-hour trip, so we'll be pretty tired when we get there. Very little wind again. See the wind to there. We've got to go round the Beatrice oil field and wind farm, which is right in the middle of the Moray Firth. We're going west. We've been advised to go into the Moray Firth and go around the western edge of it and then back out. It doesn't actually add a massive amount of distance onto the trip, so only about 3 or 4 miles, which is not too bad at all. So that's where we're headed at the moment, for the waypoint just to the west of the Beatrice oil field. Then we'll turn more northerly to get to the last kind of third of the journey up to Wick. So yeah, so perhaps a bit more later. We've been told we might even see minke whales today. That would be good. Not sure how visible all this is, but this is the Beatrice or Smithbank wind farm in the middle of the Moray Firth. It just goes for miles. It used to be the Beatrice oil field, now presumably empty of oil, and now we are harvesting the wind instead. We've been advised to come down. We've come down really right down to the bottom southwest corner. We're probably going to skirt through just a few wind turbines at this bottom end, so it was a bit of a diversion, and then we turned more northerly to get up towards Wick. But that's such a big wind farm. If something went wrong in the middle of it, you wouldn't want to be stuck drifting around in there. We've got no wind at the moment. We've got very good visibility, lovely sunshine, so we'll probably hand steer through the last few turbines at this bottom end of the farm. But yeah, a big one that must power a lot of houses when the wind's blowing, as it has been. It's not powering many today, but certainly the last few days there's been a very decent wind. Must be generating a lot of power. Complex design of the blades, looking at the shape of them, it's incredible, the different curves all the way along their length. Amazing. So it makes a difference. Enormous, he says. Apparently can generate somewhere around 10 megawatts, which I find incredible.
This decommissioned oil rig was our waypoint for getting through the bottom of the Beatrice wind farm, and you get some idea of the size of the swell here. It's difficult to get the size of the swell on photographs, I find, but this one you can see they've got a quite large source, but so gentle that you didn't really notice them. You just went up and down gently. At this point we come out of the wind farm and can turn directly towards Wick.
We are now on in the last 10 miles going up the northern coast of the Moray Firth towards Wick. A bit of wind now, got lots. Still quite a sloppy sea, but not too bad. A lot better than I thought it might be when I got up this morning. So
The Camps Bar in Wick. We just arrived and probably had the best steak pie I've ever had in here, with mash and peas, all for £8 each. Absolutely first class. Unfortunately, they didn't have any real ale.
we got to Wick on Friday the 24th of May. We did some housekeeping on the Saturday the 25th, and then with the weather forecast not good enough to proceed to Orkney, we have left the boat at Wick Harbour, and Martin and I have took the bus and the ferry to Orkney to meet up with Marion and Stephen, who will be the next crew for the next leg. Martin had a flight back from Kirkwall on Thursday, needed to leave on the Wednesday to be ready for that flight, so we couldn't wait for the weather to go across to Orkney with Martin. The plan therefore is that Stephen and I will go back from Orkney on the ferries and collect the boat. At the moment it's planned for Sunday the 31st, I think it is. We'll be bringing the boat across. So I'm sleeping in a normal bed now, staying, as I say, with Marion and Stephen. Marion is one of the GPs on Hoy for part of the year, and she's up here working at the moment. Stephen's with her, and so we won't be able to leave until she's finished her duty, which will be on the 5th of June. So there'll now be a pause. Well, I might do one video as we come across the Pentland Firth, because that's quite worrying part of the trip. It'd be nice to have that behind us. And then we will be proceeding on westward across the top of Scotland, weather permitting, from the 5th, 6th of June. So there'll be more then. Anyway, thanks for watching the videos. Hopefully they have some interest. One little point. You'll remember in one of the videos I said that we saw bottlenose dolphins. Well, it seems they were orcas. We were talking to people in Whitehills, and they said, oh no, it's much more likely to be orcas. They are out there. And they did look like orcas. It was just, at the time you doubt yourself. They were big and they were very close, but they didn't chew my boat, which was good. We didn't see any minkies on that trip though, unfortunately. But yeah, orcas, that was one for the record. Anyway, thanks for watching, and there'll be more soon.